I'm going to get a little political on this one, and that's because I'm actually speaking at I guess it's a political event. I'm not treating it politically, even though I ran in politics. And the reason I did that is because, my highest value in life is freedom. And I've been searching my whole life to find out what does that really mean, and I'm still searching for that. But one thing I definitely learned, it is not politics. Now, the reason I'm speaking at this event is because I'm going to be talking about the introduction of S3X content and materials inside of our school system. And I'm going to be presenting why we should be reconsidering this. Now, freedom is found in the spiritual path and journey because that's a journey inward. Freedom is never found in politics. Politics is about power. And power means politics is about policies in which you can enforce. It's like a legal violence. I can make you do this. We can make you learn this. We can make you act or behave in this way. And we have a legal system to back it up, meaning I can force you to do it and I will not be put in jail. That's why people ask, why don't presidents or prime ministers ever end up in jail? I'm like, because it actually detriments. No prime minister wants to put another prime minister in jail because it means he can too be put in jail. So because you don't want to set a precedent, that's why they're powerful. They operate above the law. People don't get that, or they get mad when they do, but that's actually what you're granting them. You're saying, hey, you're the lawmaker. Meaning we have to put so much trust in you that you would actually be do what's good for us, even though we are vulnerable to you. That puts a lot of responsibility on that leader's shoulder. I'm speaking because our leaders currently are allowing S3X materials to be exposed to children, and top that with the adult content that's available. 35% of online views, are adult content. If the internet represents 35% of our collective thoughts, 35% of our collective thoughts are on adult content. That's 35% of the collective energy and energy given to the day. Imagine if we took that 35% and put it into feeding people. Imagine if we took that 35. Imagine if you know what? Let's not even go altruistic with it. Let's break it down. Imagine you put that 35% in the gym, all right? Imagine you put that 35% into your marriage. Imagine you put that 35% into bettering the world, creating curriculums that were beneficial. And so the reason that I'm speaking about this is because as the Powerhouse Man movement, we've essentially declared a battle against pornography. Now, this doesn't mean we're we're anti-porn. Are you anti-porn? Yeah, I am, because porn is bad for our collective consciousness. It's not a good thing for us. And so what I'm just going to be speaking about and presenting is why this is so detrimental and why we should actually be reintroducing a more healthy curriculum on S3X. There's going to be a need, and that's why whoever is in power, they are going to determine what type of education your child receives. And I'm not so much want to talk about too much about what is going on, because we already know what's going on. Gender ideology, illicit promotion of illicit behavior at young ages, teaching that S3X it's a pleasure-based mindset around it, and it's to explore, and it's to. I had a site here. I'll pull it up for you. I had this because I'm going to base some of my speech on this particular site. teenhealthsource.com. Porn literacy. Porn literacy is asking questions to help us better understand the porn we use and how we use it. Find out more about ways to be intentional and aware about how we engage with it. Habits of use. Lots of people use and enjoy porn. Some people are concerned about how they use it. They may worry that they're using porn too much or that they're addicted to it. But there's no one normal or right amount to use porn. Each of us gets to decide what healthy porn use looks like for us. And porn use is only problematic if it's getting in the way of living your life the way you want to or doing the things you need to do. Ideally, our relationship with porn is one that adds positive sexual feelings and experiences. So they're trying to paint porn as something like as a positive thing. It should be a positive thing. It's a little bit like the way cigarette companies kind of seduced the population into smoking. And because it was widely accepted and promoted in celebrity culture, the culture took to it. And it wasn't only till years later that we discovered the damages and the studies were done and we said, hey guys, chill it out. Well, I can see the same thing is going to happen. You see, because the studies have been done. People already know, people are already speaking out and saying, hey, this causes serious damage, not like little damage, like serious damage. Like we're talking drug use damage. This is on the level of cocaine. This is on the level of mass addiction in which we're going to promote to kids now? Kids are curious. You tell a child don't do something. You know, the second website that I ever went to was www.s3x.com. And the only reason it wasn't the first website is because this is when dial-up was a thing, all right? I was in high school. Dial-up. The reason it wasn't my first website is because my parents were home and the computer was literally sitting in the living room. So I went to Nas.com instead and listened to hip hop. But the next day, it was the second. I'm like thinking, how did I even know to go to that? Like, I don't even know. It's just somehow like, I don't know. It must have someone planted the seed. Like, oh, you know what? I remember I had a buddy, Danny, if you're watching, he had these, we called them cat eyes because he had these really like cool cat eyes. But, shit, man, I probably shouldn't be mentioning names because I'm about to just talk about some real shit. But anyways, they had a video game, and the point of the video game was to get laid. And I think that was the first time like I was introduced to like some virtual idea of getting laid. And anyways, it evolved to go into there, then it evolved to chat rooms, then it evolved to porn, blah, 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 blah. You know the journey, you've probably been on it. So the point is that when you tell a child don't do something, they're going to get more curious about it. But when you educate a child in a healthy manner, and what's a healthy manner? So that's the debate, because the debate is going to be, you're a bigot, you're a misogynist for saying this. That's going to be the debate. That's going to be the rhetoric, right? But actually, I'm like, well, hold on a sec. It's not about that. Let's change the conversation. You're saying this is about inclusion. Great. Everyone should be included. Gay, straight, trans, everybody. You're included. Great, you're included. Done. Because it only happens in a consciousness. Inclusion is a concept, right? It's a concept in which we all have to say we agree to like everybody or accept everybody. You can't like everybody. And we may not all agree. And to think that we're all going to agree is crazy. But we can agree, and that's what freedom is. It's like we can agree, though, that I agree to disagree. I agree to disagree with gender ideology. But if you want to identify as they and them, that's fine. That's cool. But don't ask me as a taxpayer to support it because I don't agree with it. I don't believe that is truthful. And I want our education system to stay truthful. And I want our education system to, and this is what I really want to talk about, is what will we do? So we know what we're against. But I'm not really against it. I'm just like, I just don't think that's where we should. I think that's not a good use of our energy. It's like adult video time. Adult video time. That sounds like a blockbuster. I feel like there was a store where I grew up in Calgary that was called Adult Video Time. There was like, you used to go into the old stores, the VHS stores. If you're my age, you know what I'm talking about. And then in the back room, they had a back room and it was always the adult video sections. And you try to look in there, you might see a titty or something. Adult video time. So it's like adult video time. It's a unit of energy, meaning, let's say time equals energy. If an hour is spent on you watching some video online, then that is a unit, an hour. Let's say that's a unit. That's a unit of energy spent on something that's going to give you no ROI. So similarly, what is the ROI of teaching this? That's what I want to present. What is the ROI of teaching? There's no ROI. The ROI is more confusion amongst kids, the potential of more children becoming seen as S3X objects as we instill that into the collective consciousness. The ROI is a more S3X based society. And our first instinct would be like, yeah, let's do it. But that's just the lowest of your nature talking. What about the message of family? What about the traditional messages of S3X is something you do with someone you love in marriage? I'm proposing that we bring those values and conversations back to the collective education system. Because what's the ROI on that? The ROI is massive. The ROI is happier people who are staying together. The ROI is kids who have fathers in the home. The ROI on that is people feeling safe and secure because they know that their most stable community, which is the family core, is stable. Dad's not downstairs jerking off to a screen while mom's upstairs chatting it up with some guy to validate. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like this is going on because and now the education system is encouraging it. So it's seeping out into our collective consciousness, and we need to reel that back in because there is a serious consequence in which we will all suffer, which is ultimately the breakup of the family core. And the breakup of the family core, the breakup of family values, which we already see, has detrimental consequences long term. First, on economies. Less people means less economy. It means fewer people with a lot of control and everybody else broke serving that system. There's some people who want that right now. And they want the education system to be dumbed down. Innovation happens when we are using our energy, our units of energy, our time in greater pursuits. Now, what happens specifically, I want to talk about what happens to a man when he adopts the mindset of I'm a family man. It changes his consciousness to go, so what's my duty now as a family man? Well, my duty is, first my duty is to get myself right. So I got to be a producer, a provider, a protector. Well, shit, man, that means I better get into shape so I've got energy. And that means I better get disciplined and focused. And that means that's what education, bringing out your nature. That means you can't deny your nature or confuse your nature. That's why gender ideology is bad for the collective. It's good that we have an inclusive mindset and spirit. Anybody and everybody should be included. But we should not sacrifice the truth for ideology. Men and women are built differently, and nature has different roles for us. Men, we are generally providers, protectors. We should be embodying discipline and focus. We should be safeguarding our women and children. See, when you're a family man, that's how you think. I recognize this in my own journey. Like, I'm not telling you this because I'm like, a saint or some shit like that. I'm telling you this because this is this battle that I've also go through. It's like there's a part of me that just wants to be that single guy who just wants to run around and hook up and blah, 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 and watch porn and chase pleasure and just do all that stuff. And then there's a part of me, though, it's a deeper part, it's a more fulfilling part, and the more I feed it, the more I'm so grateful to feed that part, because this part has nothing, it has no ROI. The ROI is here, family, building memories, long-term, something to pass on, something to build, something that's meaningful, something where you can sit around with friends, with community, and experience real love. And this pleasure-seeking stuff is like, it's fun. It might seem appealing because it plays to your lower nature. And kids are so susceptible because they don't have the critical thinking yet to go, wait a sec, this is wrong. I don't want to be shaped like this. This is consciously shaping children's consciousness on their own, where S3X plays a role in their life. And I think that's a violation of the government, as the government schools, as Taxpayers, we all have the right to contribute and say what it is that we would like to say happens in our schools. And I'm saying I don't want that in our schools. What I want is where are the politicians? Where are the leaders? Where are the priests, the imams, the swamis? Where you guys are all hiding out in your churches and your temples? Why aren't you actually doing your duty, which is standing up for the spiritual protection of the nation and people? Where are you? Where is the men to stand up and say, no, you will not be teaching my child this. If not, my child will become out of school. And if enough of us just pull our kids out of school, enough of it shuts the whole system down because they need you to participate. Don't participate, it shuts down. Start creating your own systems. Homeschool again. Go back to traditional values. Fight for those traditional values. I don't know if you guys know the Alaskan Bush People. The Alaskan Bush People is a show I myself and my wife very much enjoy. And I think one of the reasons, at least that I enjoy it, and I know Sarah enjoys it too, we've talked about it, it's that one of the reasons we enjoy this show is the inspiration we get from them on their family core. And he's got these, the head of the family is a guy named Billy Brown. And he always says these three things, and myself and Sarah, we've adapted these three F's into our own life, and just by saying them all the time within our household has changed, it's helped change our consciousness from pleasure seeking and all of this, like this kind of consciousness about pleasure, to faith, family, freedom. So faith, develop in your faith. Let's see a curriculum that teaches kids to be strong and empowered and have faith and show them good examples. And family, put that 35% of energy, put those units of energy into having an amazing relationship with your partner, with your wife. Develop great memories with your family. Put that effort in. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's better than Netflix. It's better than whatever else you're doing. It lasts. It stays in your heart. You feel satisfied the next day and the next day because you're like, yeah, I've got something solid. You get everybody from outside of the screens in their homes and get around to family dinner again, cook together again, be together again, pray together again, worship together again, and know that you live in a free country in which you have a say, and so therefore you should never feel in fear to speak for the things that you believe to be true, and that no religion or no should be suppressed. And that's why I'm saying we're not here to suppress gender ideology. We're simply here to promote the philosophy in which we want to see happen, which is, hey, let's teach family again. Let's teach sex is sacred. Let's teach sex is something that you do with someone you love. Let's teach using our time for higher pursuits of knowledge, wisdom, beauty. And let's have amazing families and communities. Let's do it in that spirit. I don't know. I'm going to do something like that. I pretty much just wing that, quite honestly, and I'm pretty much going to do something like that at this march because that's what I feel in my heart. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to just say, hey man, let's put NoFap in schools. Let's put meditation in school. Let's put prayer in school. Let's put inner development in school. Let's develop the next generation of amazing human beings who are smart and self-controlled and disciplined and who value family and, rather than valuing the next thing they're going to purchase or the next way in which they're going to please themselves. Subscribe, reach out to me, all that good stuff. Peace.